In Israel, there's always this good news, this bad news. They celebrated Lag BaOmer. Many of us outside of Israel don't really appreciate how celebratory and festive Lag BaOmer is. So we've got something about that. Gaza, they're stepping up the war. Israel is stepping up the war, moving really last week, incredibly heavy aerial bombing, lots of killings, with a sense that got to get this war over. And even Netanyahu seems to be at the point now where this is going to be the last, it looks like it may be the last iteration of, we're going to really get him this time. Seems like they're about to finally really get him this time. You never know with Netanyahu whether he's going to pull the plug on it, but the aerial bombing was so extreme, and if they know that there are terrorists under a hospital in a tunnel, they're taking out the hospital. They just don't care anymore, which I've been arguing for a long time they ought to do anyway, because there are no more punishments available by the international community. Once the international community already issued arrest warrants on him and accused him of genocide and war crimes, so he's got nothing to lose. They made the mistake of throwing everything at him too early. So there's that. Israel's now moving towards a ground invasion also. What they're doing is they're forcing whatever Arabs are living there and haven't left or aren't trying to leave to go deep into the south in Rafiah. And they're trying to sort of clean out one region at a time now. They've learned every time they went and cleaned out Hamas and then went to the next region, Hamas would just move, whoever's still alive would just move with cat and mouse. And every single time they felt we've cleared them out, they would show up somewhere else. It became whack-a-mole. And it seems this time their strategy is, we're going to take an area and we're going to occupy it. We're just going to occupy it forever. We're not giving it back. And that's that Almo corridor that they've now created. So Rafiah is being cut off from the rest of Gaza. And now they're going like in Khan Yunis, and then they're moving up. They dropped a bomb, we'll see in a few moments, in the area of a hospital, which killed 100 people, created an international firestorm. But today it was confirmed in the news that the next head of Hamas was killed in a tunnel under that hospital. Mohammed Sinwar, the brother of Yahya Sinwar, or Yahya Sinwar. So we have all of that. There's some interesting House committee hearings, again, on the university situation. There's some local riots. There's some college stories. We're gonna get it all done in 1 hour if I stop talking. And then I've got 30 minutes, last 30 minutes or so of our hour and a half is on Eurovision. So a quick word about it now so I don't have to break the momentum later. We in the United States and many other countries have never heard of Eurovision. I have no idea what it is. And if you saw a little news item about it, But in Europe and Russia, Ukraine, all of that stuff, and Israel and some of that stuff, Eurovision is a big, big thing. It's once a year. Every country in Europe and Eastern Europe and Israel, and every country has their own context during the year to pick the song of that country entry. And then all those, that like 37 songs are entered in a contest in all of Europe. It probably is the one thing that brings all of Europe, everybody, the bad guys, the good guys, well, they're all bad guys, but it brings everybody together in an international evening or day, depending on your time zone, of a song contest. And it's a big, big thing. And Israel has won it in the last 60 years or so. Israel has won it, I believe, 4 times, and come in second or third about 3 or 4 times also. Have some great songs. And a few years they've had incredibly lame entries. Well, anyway, there was a lot this year. There was a massive, massive effort to ban Israel from the contest because of genocide and all that stuff. The organizers of the contest maintain that the thing is apolitical, and we don't ban other countries, and so we're not going to ban genocidal Israel either. And there was all kinds of concern what's going to happen, and is she going to be given a fair chance? And anyway, that's it. But Eurovision, big thing. First, they had the 37 songs in a semifinal, from which 26 made it and 11 or so got chopped off. Israel made the semifinal. And then, like yesterday, was the finals. Enough of that. And I'm going to try not to talk too much. Lots of stuff to do. Okay, didn't go too bad. Thank you very much for being here. I hope you find today's program educational, inspirational, and fun to be part of. It was Lag BaOmer, so we'll take just a quick peek. Might have not seen this in your neck of the woods, but it was Lag BaOmer, and people celebrated. Eretz Yisrael. Vishnitz is one of the main yeshivas in Israel. They seem to be dancing particularly because their Rebbe, the Vishnitzer Rebbe, has entered the room. Also, for those of you that have ever seen Hasidic dancing, not the classic wedding dancing, but like Denise and I watched Shababniks, which had been a series in Israel. You see that when Hasidim like jam the house, like what you're looking at here, what they do is their form of dancing is sort of hopping up and down, up and down, up and down.
I believe
That's the Rebbe reciting a bracha. We move on. There's so much I'm going to be cutting into a lot of these clips and moving on to the next one to get stuff in. And now we go to Trump in Arab land. In the last few weeks, I showed you, excuse me, how Viktor Orban of Hungary welcomed Netanyahu, and they just turned out the red carpets, and Netanyahu was just treated royally and on red carpets, and Orban and his wife walked Netanyahu and his wife along the Blue Danube, and they gave him an honorary doctorate, and they just treated him like wild. And then on the other hand, I showed you that when Netanyahu came to America, it has become such a personal friendship with Trump that it wasn't a royal welcome, but rather Trump stood at the curb outside the White House to welcome Bibi's car when it arrived. Now, this is a royal welcome. Trump went to 3 Arab countries, dictatorships and bad places, Saudi Arabia, Qatar or Qatar, and the third one, we'll get to it, Abu Dhabi maybe. And these guys know how to do a royal welcome. And the concern for Jews and people of Israel is that Trump has that big ego. And I'm not looking to criticize, you know where I'm at on Trump. But he's got that big ego. And you're always concerned that after like a week of being given royal welcomes, how that could impact his policies, not to mention a $400 million Christmas present to fly in. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
It was a crazy week that we're covering this week in Israel. And the next story is Ed and Alexander, the last living American.
Oh, yeah.
The last living American who was being held hostage by Hamas was freed ostensibly as a goodwill gesture by Hamas toward Trump. There are still approximately 20 living hostages in Hamas captivity, plus so many deceased bodies that they have not given up, including American bodies. But with Trump going to the 3 Arab countries, it seems that the Arab countries, and well, they got this, and this is Ed and Alexander, it's this guy. And here we go. This is a big story at the beginning of the week.
איזה חזק אתה שומר בתוך בעידן, יו, כמה דאגנו, אוי. וואו. יו. איזה ענק הילד הזה, מה זה? מי זה? דויים. סואל. מה זה?
مشيك يا سلمى
של עידן אלכסנדר עומד על הרגליים שלצידו.
זה רגע מרגש מאוד. עידן אלכסנדר חזר הביתה. אנחנו מחבקים אותו, אנחנו מחבקים את משפחתו. זה הושג בזכות הלחץ הצבאי שלנו והלחץ המדיני שהפעיל הנשיא טראמפ. הדבר הזה זה שילוב מנצח. דיברתי היום עם הנשיא טראמפ, הוא אמר לי, אני מחויב לישראל, אני מחויב להמשיך לעבוד איתך בשיתוף פעולה הדוק, כדי להשיג את כל מטרות המלחמה שלנו. לשחרר את כל החטופים ולנצח את החמאס. זה הולך ביחד, הדברים משולבים זה בזה.
עידן, כל כך טוב לשמוע אותך, ועוד...
שיגעון, לא יאומן.
אנחנו מאושרים, אבא ואמא מאושרים, ועם ישראל מאושר, אני רוצה שתדע את זה, זה פשוט רגע נפלא. איך אתה מרגיש, עידן? איך אתה מרגיש?
בסדר, חלש, אבל לאט לאט.
כן.
לאט לאט נחזור
Steve.
Hi, Mr. Prime Minister.
You have one brave Israeli soldier there who's also a champion of America and Israel together. And we're very, very happy and very grateful to the help that you and President Trump gave us. And we, of course, value his comrades, the Israeli soldiers who are there ready to take whatever action if our other friends, our other hostages are not released. So it's a great moment. And so thank you.
And Mr. Prime Minister, I've told Idan and his family everything that you have done to make this possible over the last several days. It was a tense negotiation and it was critical how you allowed the negotiations to operate, and that's in large part the reason that Idan is home with his family today.
A pregnant Israeli woman was shot and killed by a terrorist gunman last night in Samaria while...
As I said, this is an absolutely insane week that we're covering. I haven't had so much up and down and so much news. A woman who was on the way in a car to the hospital to give birth. She was literally, not that she's just pregnant, but they were already in the hospital. She's coming to give birth. On the drive to the hospital, an Arab shot and killed her. There are Arabs on the road in Judea, Samaria, looking to shoot. And we once, a few weeks ago, actually saw an interview with a soldier in IDF who talks about how they they are there with their rifles, and anytime they see an Arab in that area, they shoot and kill him. They don't arrest them. They don't go to say, what are you doing there? Any Arab in certain of those areas, they shoot and kill him because they know what's going to happen. And this is a rare case where one of the bullets actually landed. Happens every so often. And they murdered this lady. And it's a tremendous national tragedy that happened happened this week.
En route to hospital to give birth, Tzila Gez, age 30, succumbed to her wounds at Rabbi Medical Center in Petach Tikva. This after doctors performed an emergency C-section to deliver the baby. The newborn was transferred to Schneider Children's Hospital located in the same complex, and doctors say he's in stable condition. Her husband, Hananel, who was driving the car, was lightly wounded and was released from hospital. The terrorist was in a car when he opened fire on passing Israeli vehicles in northern Samaria near the community of Bruchen, where the family lives. The IDF launched a manhunt for the terrorist, who fired at several vehicles on Route 446. Hostage and ceasefire talks have renewed in Doha, and a major push by U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff to forge
Android and Apple.
חוזרים לגוש קטיף משחקים כדורעף חופים מקימים את חוף נובה על החוף של עזה עם ישראל חי
This was the line spoken by Samson, Shimshon, when he was in that temple of the Philistines, and he was blind and his arms were on the two pillars, and he said to God, avenge one of my two eyes, because they had plucked out his eyes. And the rabbis say his intent was, for one of the eyes, please may that be my merit to go into the world to come. And for the other eye they plucked out, please help me avenge right now. Meanwhile, in Gaza, I mentioned at the outset, there has been incredibly intense bombing, such as at Khan Yunis, where they took out part of a hospital complex, and they were going for Sinwar, the brother of Yahya Sinwar, the new leader. And it was announced today that they did get him. It took about 5-6 days, I guess, to find him, whether they had killed him, but they found him in the tunnel, or what was left of him. All this week. They always build their command centers under hospitals. And the world condemns them for bombing hospitals. Numbers earlier in the week, today they confirmed he's dead. And this is the moment of that attack, of the moment that bomb landed. This is incredible video. Keep your eyes on the left. I don't know how on earth, but this guy gets up and I guess he's on the way to Starbucks. I don't know. I don't know how he survived that, Ribono Shel Olam. Or maybe he didn't, I don't know. But it's like Superman. Again, there are people walking, but under that ground, you've got Sinwar, the commander of Hamas. That's what they do, human shields.
כך הפכה אחת מהמדינות האהובות ביותר על הישראלים
Meanwhile, around Europe, the usual anti-Semitism and one-sided attacks on Israel. One of the worst countries now is Spain. You've got Ireland. We've been learning this. Unfortunately, we're not happy about it. But there are certain countries that stand out for their hatred of Israel. Ireland, unfortunately, here in America, many Jews and Irish get along so well. But Ireland, remember the two Irelands. The main Ireland is south. That's plain Ireland. Republic of Ireland is Catholic. And then the smaller one up north is called Northern Ireland. That's mostly Protestant. They're pro-Israel. And main Ireland is anti. And then, of course, France and Macron is just horrible. And Spain is horrible. And so the report is about how Israelis love to vacation in Spain. And so this idea that one of the places that is most popular among Israelis to vacation in Europe has become one of the most anti-Semitic places in the world.
באירופה, להר געש מבעבע של אנטישמיות.
Massive rallies for there is no Palestine, but what they call those rallies throughout Spain regularly.
Creo que podemos decir sin temor a equivocarnos que Netanyahu es el Hitler de nuestro tiempo. Es terrible, absolutamente una lección de historia terrorífica.
I'm not going to translate all of it, but it's bad.
אלא גם חגיגות לציון טבח 7 באוקטובר ועיוות מוחלט של ההיסטוריה. ספרד תחת ממשלתו של פדרו סנצ'ז הפכה לכל אנטי-ציוני מוביל באירופה, וכן, אותו
Pedro Sanchez is the head of the government of Spain, and this is a speech where, for example, he accuses Israel of starting October 7th and of invading Gaza.
פדרו סנצ'ז שנאם במחאות קפלן.
He, on the one hand, addressed by hookup an anti-Netanyahu rally in Tel Aviv. There's a massive anti-Netanyahu rally in Tel Aviv every Saturday night at Kaplan Square. And they're just out to destroy Netanyahu. Every couple of months, it's a different issue. But it's the same people and the same money coming from Soros and from some of those other places and from some European anti-Israel places funding this weekly Saturday night Kaplan Square rally. It might have to do, 1 week it'll be about judicial reform, and 1 week it'll be about the hostages. And this guy, it underscores how anti-Israel they are in Kaplan Square, that they have this guy as like a guest speaker on hookup. Here's the guy actually addressing, I believe, Parliament.
זה ב-7 באוקטובר, ולא ההפך.
A ver, como ustedes saben, señorías, el gobierno de España...
As you know, ladies and gentlemen, the government of Spain has made a commitment, and I personally, ever since October 7, 2023,
se comprometió, y yo personalmente, desde el 7 de octubre de 2023, que es la fecha del inicio de la invasión.
Which, after all, is the day we all know is when the Israeli invasion of Gaza began. That's how he defines October 7th, the day of Plisha shel Yisrael or Tzuat Gaza, of the Israeli invasion into Gaza.
De Israel a Gaza, a no vender ni comprar armamento.
We will not sell any weapons to Israel. We will not buy any weapons from Israel or any ammunition.
Ni munición procedente de Israel. ese es el compromiso del gobierno de España.
וזו הצביעות הספרדית במיטבה. בדיון שנערך לאחרונה בפרלמנט הסבירה הממשלה כי אמברגו נשק מוחלט על ישראל עלול להוביל לפגיעה בשוטרים ובאזרחים מקומיים. יד ספרדית.
He announced that by such an embargo against Israel, it even hurts their own local police who benefit from certain Israeli products and their own military. Not that Spain's military is such a big thing. Ever since the Spanish Armada in 1588, Spanish army has not been one of the major history-making places. But it's important to understand that these guys, Spain, very anti-Semitic. They all happen to be Catholic countries, interestingly. Spain, Italy, the Catholic Ireland, France. It's interesting that Israel's worst problems in Europe are primarily out of the Catholic countries, not the Protestant ones, who are no piece of cake either.
אחת חולבת את התעשיות הביטחוניות שלנו, היד השנייה ממשיכה להסית נגדנו.
Our own government has said on TV and to all the Spaniards from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Like how crazy! The only politicians I think that has got.
She's the president of the National Student Union, Jewish Student Union in Spain.
The situation to an extreme. Even Cira Rego, which is a minister of universities in Spain, the 7th of October, she said, Palestinians have right to resist. On the 7th of October.
So that's Spain. On the other hand, there was a demonstration, keep in mind, by the Goyim, they think of Israel Independence Day as May 14. Now, May 14, 1948 was the 5th of Iyar. So Jews around the world mark Israeli independence Yom Ha'atzmaut on Hey Iyar, the 5th of Iyar. But the secular calendar day was May 14, which is also this crazy past week. And and the Arabs referred to May 1448 as Nakba, the day of the catastrophe. That is Israel Independence Day as marked by Jews in the Arab world is known as Nakba, the day of catastrophe. May they have many, many more holidays in their calendar like that. So there was a rally in Germany marking Nakba, and the German police went after him.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Meanwhile, there are hearings, I believe the Education Committee or whatever, on the House Education Committee was holding hearings on college campus anti-Semitism. And this week, they got the president of Haverford.
Thank you. A question for each of you. Is calling for the genocide of Jews protected speech on your campus, starting with Haverford?
No, of course not.
And what disciplinary action has been taken or
Listen very, very carefully to the president of Haverford, the smug answers where she does not answer the question. She talks around the question. Every answer is something like, what did you do? And the answer is, if something like that would happen, but listen to how she evades every question. Haverford, I think they're going to get hit. First you have the hearings, and then I think the Trump administration is going to end up hitting them hard for what she did at this hearing.
or would be taken if someone made that call?
Representative, there have been no such calls, and we would use all of our disciplinary actions to follow through on any such call. I would never expect that to happen at Haverford, and if it would, we would deal with that swiftly.
Well, let me ask you a specific question then. There was a student group on Haverford's campus who called for the complete dismantling of the apartheid settler colonial state of Israel by all means necessary. What does by all means necessary mean to you?
Invoking that kind of terminology is repugnant because of what it can mean, and I will not.
So does that depend on the context?
I will not defend that statement.
So what disciplinary action was taken against that group or those individuals who made that call? Any disciplinary action? Was there any disciplinary action taken against that group or those individuals?
Those kinds of statements are.
I'm not asking you if they're repugnant. I'm asking about the disciplinary action. You were the one university president who failed to lay out if any disciplinary action has been taken, if any suspensions or expulsions. So I am asking you, was there any disciplinary action taken?
Disciplinary action can include expulsion and.
I'm not asking what it can include. I'm asking, was it taken?
I will not be talking about individual cases here, and I'm saying that that is.
So have there been any disciplinary actions taken by Haverford related to anti-Semitism? Any?
Disciplinary actions are absolutely in our work.
Have they been taken?
So you get the idea. I've got to move on because of so much we're covering, but she wouldn't answer the question. She's really bad news.
Gentlelady, I recognize now the gentlelady from North Carolina.
Thank you. Thank you. This has been hard to sit through, and for all the Jews that are out there.
This is the same House hearings, and this is a guy just got elected out of Florida to Congress, Randy Fine.
I want to apologize to you because it's been tough for me listening to a lot of the repulsive and repugnant commentary that's been made both in those asking questions and those answering them, but God puts us where he wants us to be. My 17-year-old this morning told me to wear my kippah, which I don't do often, but that may change in honor of all of the students at these campuses that don't feel safe to wear it themselves. And for anyone who doubts my commitment to fighting on these issues, no matter what side of the aisle they're on, they can go talk to the 2 chairmen of the board and the 1 university president in Florida who no longer have their jobs because of me. So I encourage you to keep that in mind when you answer my questions. I think we heard a lot of lip service here. And Mr. Cole talked about the importance of free speech and equal access to education. So I'm going to start with those questions with Dr. Raymond. Dr. Raymond, and I encourage you, this may be happening right now. If a student is on your campus right now with a sign that says, "No blacks on campus," what will happen to that student?
Representative Fine, I first want to say that
I don't want to hear that. I want you to answer my question. A student on your campus right now walking around campus saying, "No blacks on campus," what will happen to that student? They're just allowed to walk around. Good job. Free speech. We love that. Is that what would happen on your campus?
No.
Okay, good. Would they be invited to go get an education somewhere else, which is what I hope the answer is?
It would be the same as someone who is inappropriately.
Would they be kicked out of campus if a student walked around your campus saying, "No blacks on campus"? Or would we sit around a drum circle and talk about how great it is? What would happen? Would they be kicked off? Or is that free speech at Haverford College? No blacks on campus.
Representative Fine, there is no room for discrimination or
But there is room, because at your campus, in front of you, at a protest, students held up a sign saying no Zionists on campus. They said, and there was no consequence for that, and you were at that event, and it happened on September 30th, 2024. You were there. My second question I'm going to go to, do you believe the Jews are responsible for COVID? Is that some sort of conspiracy that we came up with to go after people? The Jewish students on your campus and professors were responsible for COVID and it was like unleashed on people? Is that what you believe?
Of course it's
Okay, then why did you say when a group, a terrorist group, wanted to have a presentation called COVID in Times of Genocide, how Israel uses COVID as a tool for settler colonialism in Palestine, your response to that name was that it was thoughtful and considerate. See, we can talk about what other people did. I'm interested in what you did, and in both of these instances, you're the one that did it. So do you think that title, COVID in Times of Genocide, how Israel uses COVID as a tool for settler colonialism in Palestine, was that thoughtful and considerate? Do you still believe that today?
I did not say that about that title, and I do not believe that today. And Zionists are welcome on our campus. And Zionists are Jews and not Jews. And to go back to your other point, we do not tolerate discrimination against.
Well, then, okay, just file in your mind, if they ever go after Haverford and cut out some money, this was the day that they had the hearing.
Still terrible grades for others. So without objection, I submit this for the record.
Last week, we had Ben and Jerry, we had Ben Cohen. And
objection,
remember,
I submit this for the record.
Where Ben Cohen last week, he was on the Tucker Carlson podcast and talked about how he basically has abandoned the Judaism of his birth and now has embraced Jesus Christ. And that's the Ben Cohen of Ben and Jerry's. And days later, as part of this insane past week, he was at a hearing at the U.S. Senate and got arrested, screaming and yelling about genocide.
Permitted while the committee conducts its business. Capitol Police are asked to remove the individuals from.
That's Ben Cohen.
The hearing room.
Move down the hallway.
Ben, why are you getting arrested?
Move down the hallway. If you stop, you will be arrested.
Poor kids in Gaza by buying bombs and pays for it by kicking kids off Medicaid in the U.S.
Keep going down. Keep going down the hallway.
I used to be very much into Cherry Garcia. And every Friday night, Rebbitzin Ellen Zichron Livracha and I would host 15 to 17 people for a Friday night Shabbat dinner group. And this went on for about 2 years or more till Ellen got sick and then stuff. So every Friday night, she'd cook up a storm of a wonderful Friday night Shabbat dinner, always fleshik, always meat. And when Ben & Jerry's came out with a non-dairy ice cream, and my favorite flavor, Cherry Garcia, as well, in Parv, I mean, that was the absolute Friday night dessert. And ever since Ben & Jerry came out with that stuff about not selling to Judea and Samaria, we've had, throughout our American Jewish community, we've had a very, very strong boycott. It's not even a boycott anymore. It's just a given. No Ben & Jerry's near us. No Ben & Jerry in our house. And to hell with them. Ben Cohen, Jerry Siegel, to hell with them. So it now emerges that he's not even identified Jewish. He identifies with Jesus Christ. And there he is actually getting himself arrested in Senate on behalf of the victims of Israel. He's never been arrested for on behalf of other children like the Bibas brothers.
Days have they been starving in Gaza?
Stop!
Also, as part of this insane week at NYU, one of their schools, graduation ceremonies, this fellow Logan Rozos was selected to give the graduation speech. And it emerges that his speech had to be approved by the faculty, by the administration, and it was. And he came and he pulled out a different speech, or he threw in stuff on his own. And NYU has now responded by saying, what you said was not authorized. Therefore, at present, we're not giving you your diploma. I was reading about this in the New York Times this past insane week, and I read something else that actually blew my mind. It's so good to be able, as a rabbi, to just talk the truth and not care what other people think. So I'm going to say something that most rabbis can't because they're afraid they'll offend somebody. And most people can't because they're afraid they'll offend somebody. The New York Times reports that this guy is a proud, gay, trans man. A proud, gay, trans man. And I needed to process that for a few moments. I want you to understand what this guy is. And by the way, I got curious enough to try to figure out, is this the only one of his kind? A gay trans man. So let's play this out. He started as a woman and he transed into a man. So he starts as a woman, transed into a man, and as a man, he's gay. He wants to be intimate with men. So in other words, he started off as a woman, and his attraction is to be intimate with men. So he actually started off, I'm going to say it, normal. He's a woman interested in men. Transgendered, gender-affirming surgery, to become a man who would have homosexual sex with men. That's the life in which we live now. So here he goes, Logan.
And political commitments guide me to say that the only thing that is appropriate to say in this time and to a group this large is a recognition of the atrocities currently happening in Palestine. The genocide currently occurring is supported politically and militarily by the United States.
And notice the student reaction. One would have hoped in a different era that people would start booing. In this era, at NYU, they're cheering.
Is paid for by our tax dollars and has been live streamed to our phones for the past 18 months. And that I do not wish to speak only to my own politics today, but to speak for all people of conscience, all people who feel the moral injury of this atrocity. And I want to say that I condemn this genocide and complicity in this genocide. Thank you to the class of 2025, and congratulations.
News 6, a top team official for the Florida Panthers now...
Meantime, in this insane, crazy past week, there's a team called the Florida Panthers. They're an NHL hockey team, NHL, National Hockey League. And their number 2 executive got involved in a social media argument with some fan. And I think it's called Godwin's Law. You've heard of Murphy's Law, that something can go wrong at will. And you've heard of the Peter Principle, that people rise up to their level of incompetence. The Godwin's Law is that whenever people get involved in an argument on social media, no matter what the subject, by the 4th time around, they're calling each other Nazis and Hitler. So anyway, Florida Panthers, social media, now he's suspended by the NHL. What happened?
Suspended by the National Hockey League because of his posts to his social media account.
Douglas Sifu is a minority owner of the team, also serving as vice chairman and alternate governor of...
Eat, presumably SH, and he's referring to the Canadian as a 51st state anti-Semite loser. Israel now and forever, until ever last Hamas rat is eliminated. Obviously, I don't know if he wouldn't have gotten in trouble for Israel now and forever, though the company might have been against that because you'll antagonize some of our fans. I don't know. But obviously some of this other stuff. But anyway,
Sunrise Sports and Entertainment. He also lives in Jupiter. His suspension comes after posts on his X account referring to Canada as the 51st state and making comments on the Israel-Palestine war. The posts were directed at a Toronto Maple Leafs fan following the team's game on Sunday night. The account has since been suspended. Sifu sent us.
And he's arguing with a PhD, MD, and an MBA. Not bad.
A statement writing, "My behavior does not reflect the standards of the Florida Panthers organization and the Viola family. I sincerely apologize to those affected by my comments. I am committed to working with the NHL to amend my action."
Welcome back. Our breaking story.
This is amazing. This past week, they busted in Michigan an Arab who's in I think the reserves or something, and was planning an horrific attack at a military base. If you remember during the Jimmy Carter years? No, Obama. During the Obama, of course. During the Obama years, you remember that Arab who killed American soldiers on a military base, and then Obama called it something like workplace violence versus calling it for what it was. And so here we go.
Story this half hour. A 19-year-old man from Melvindale accused of planning to attack a military base in Warren on behalf of ISIS. His name is Amar Abdul Majid Mohammed Saeed. The U.S. Attorney's
You think he's Arab?
Office telling us he is a former member of the Michigan National Guard. He's charged in a criminal complaint with attempting to provide support to a foreign terrorist group and with distributing information related to a destructive device. The complaint says Saeed informed 2 undercover officers of a plan for a mass shooting at the U.S. Army's TACOM facility at the Detroit Arsenal in Warren. The prosecutor says the undercover officers agreed to carry out the plan at the direction of ISIS. Saeed is accused of providing armor-piercing ammunition and magazines for the attack. He's also accused of flying his drone over TACOM to conduct reconnaissance. The prosecutor also says he was involved in training undercover employees on guns and how to make Molotov cocktails to use during the attack.
For another day, all is calm at the Army's Tank Automotive and Armaments Command Facility, or TACOM, in Warren. On Tuesday, FBI agents stopped an ISIS terror plot aimed at taking out the military base. An undercover operation led officers to arrest Amar Abdul Majid Mohammed Saeed, a 19-year-old from Melvindale who was discharged from the Army National Guard in December. Back in September 2022, Saeed enlisted. Then during the summer of 2024, when he was still an active military member, he began online communication with undercover FBI agents thinking they would be accomplices. That led to an in-person meeting. And in September 2024, agents said Saeed called the military, Jews, Americans, tourists, and Muslims enemies of ISIS. Police paperwork shows Saeed pledges allegiance to ISIS in 2 photos, including one in front of the terrorist group's flag. In late fall, agents said Saeed detailed his plan to commit a mass shooting at TACOM. Paperwork says in one meeting, Saeed told undercover agents, quote, "So if we wanted to, shoot them and go inside, we can, throw a Molotov cause it's fire, right?" Agents say Saeed continued with talks of using a dangerous gas during the attack, saying, quote, "Napalm, exactly, it will burn. If it gets on you, expletive. If you want to expletive up even more, add a different component, it will melt into your skin." Photos appear to show Saeed showing agents where to enter the base. As the May date of the attack approached, Saeed said he wanted to live stream it, adding, quote, "The publicity will do more damage than what we're going to be doing, because it will win the hearts of the people, because this is not just an attack." And FBI arrested Saeed. Taryn.
Okay, so that is the end of our main program of the day, and we're on schedule, son of a gun. So here's where we're at now. I gave you the introduction, so I won't repeat it again. And I was able to get this done in 1 hour. What a week it was. What a week. And the last 30 minutes is about the Eurovision I talked about. And I think it's going to be very, very fascinating for you. And I know just putting it together was incredibly fascinating for me. Here we go. Minimize the talking. Okay, a little less talk and a lot more action. Just get it off the screen. Okay. Starts before Eurovision, all the anti-Israel demonstrations. Always worth a one-time reminder every week. There's no such thing as Palestine. Never was a thing as Palestine. No such thing as Palestinians. All a fraud. It's Israel. There never will be a Palestine unless you want to just use it as a synonym for Israel. We go forward now.
בזה אחר זה עלו נציגי אירוויזיון 2025 לשטיח הטורקיז בבאזל. זוהי הפתיחה הרשמית של התחרות וגם הרגע של כל אחד מהמשתתפים להתבלט בתלבושת ייחודית, שיחות עם המעריצים והעיתונאים, וכמובן דגל המדינה שהוא מייצג. אבל לא רק דגלי המדינות המתחרות בלטו, גם דגלי פלסטין הונפו היום. עשרות מפגינים פרו-פלסטינים הגיעו לנקודת הפתיחה של השטיח באירוע שגם השנה לא מצליח להימנע מפוליטיקה ולהתרכז רק במוזיקה. הקריאות נגד ישראל כמובן התעצמו כשיובל רפאל שלנו עלתה לשטיח והפכו כמעט לאיומים של ממש. בעקבות הסרטון המטריד הזה, תאגיד השידור הגיש תלונה למשטרת שוויץ ופנה גם אל איגוד השידור האירופי בבקשה לזהות את הצעיר שביצע את תנועת השחיטה וירק לעבר חברי המשלחת הישראלית. אבל אל מול צעקות המפגינים, יובל צעדה על השטיח בגאווה עם דגל ישראל.
אנחנו ידענו למה אנחנו מגיעים, היינו גם בשנה שעברה במלמו, שזה מאוד מאוד קרוב, אנחנו מצליחים לראות את השנאה הגדולה של ישראל בעולם, זה מראה מפחידה למה שקורה גם בבאזל וגם בעולם כנגד ישראל, ולמרות כל זה אנחנו פה בשביל המוזיקה.
יומיים לחצי הגמר הראשון וההתרגשות בשיאה. גם היא כבר מתכוננת לקראת ההופעה שלה ביום חמישי בערב על הבמה הגדולה בעולם.
My pleasure. How are you doing?
I'm good. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Look at you all. So beautiful. Thank you.
Did you meet Yuval? How was it with her?
Yeah, she's my sister. I meet her, say her good luck, and we all love her.
כבר כמה שנים שהשטיח הטורקי זו מסורת של פתיחת שבוע האירוויזיון. השנה הוא הארוך ביותר בתולדות התחרות, 1.3 קילומטרים מבניין העירייה, דרך נהר הריין.
Well, I think music is the universal language of love, so, you know, that's why the contest is so wonderful and so good, because it's exactly what it does. And I feel like I've never felt more safer expressing my art than I do in the Eurovision space.
ולאורך המסלול אלפי מעריצים קיבלו את פניהן של 37 המשלחות.
So much love from the fans over here, and it's like we have a great team. We're really proud of the numbers, so it's going to be amazing.
ובסיום השטיח הארוך במיוחד, בכפר האירוויזיון עשרות כלי תקשורת ראיינו את הנציגים, וכן שאלו גם את השאלות הקשות.
Every conflict, like in the world, like going further than that one conflict, I think one victim is one too many, so I hope that war all over the world stops and like people can be happy together and like just have respect for each other.
מחר צפוי למשתתפים בחצי הגמר הראשון יום עמוס בחזרות. וביום חמישי בחצי הגמר השני יגיע הרגע של יובל רפאל לסחוף את אירופה עם New Day Will Rise. אנחנו נהיה כאן מחר מיום החזרות.
So again, there were 37 countries. And they narrow it down to 26. That is, they lop off 1/3 of them through two semifinal evenings earlier this week. Israel survived the first cutoff and then was one of the final 26 in the big competition the other night.
עמוס, הדס שיהיה שבוע.
Hello.
Now, I want you to, I just want to get that set. 1 second. Okay. This is unusually long. It's about 14 minutes. I want you to hear the story of the woman who appeared yesterday, in the Eurovision representing Israel. I heard this in the context of everything. It just blew me away. She was at the Nova Music Festival. The woman who performed yesterday at Eurovision representing Israel, the national choice of their representative, actually was at the festival the night of the Arab massacre. The day, yeah.
Hello, my name is Yuval Rafael. I'm a 23-year-old. I was at the Nova Music Festival with 4 other of my friends. We were 5 in total. In Hebrew, we say we were in orot, like we were in lights. We were very excited. One of my friends waited for that party for like 6 months. It's a very, very big production. We went to the Kanta, to our resting place. And that's when everything started. And I remember looking immediately at my phone and I saw 40 updates, 40 notifications of red alerts. I was pretty calm about it because before October 7th, I was positioned in the army. I was the one that allows Palestinians in for work. There's a lot of Palestinian employees that have authorization to go inside Israel and work and then go back. So still, I was very, very calm. Like I was a pretty calm person. So when I saw all of that, I was like, let's just stay. Like, we're on the Gaza Strip. This is something that happens here. But then after a few minutes, everyone started screaming, like, you have to evacuate. This party is done. So we took all of our stuff. We took the tent and everything, and we just ran to the car. And that's when I saw all the missiles. There was a lot of people trying to get out. So there was a line of cars. We took a left and started driving. The idea was to go to Bar's house, which is 15 minutes away from where the party was in Kibbutz Or HaNer. When we connected to the 232 road, we started seeing cars going around, like going back to where the party is. And we couldn't understand what was going on. So we asked someone to stop the car. He opened the window and we asked him what is going on. And they were saying that there is probably a terrorist on the road shooting cars. Obviously, we were not taking any chances. And Adar, the one driving the car, she remembered we saw 2 bomb shelters on both sides of the roads. She decided she wanted to go inside the bomb shelter. So we turned around, we parked the car. There were tons of people there. Outside the bomb shelter, inside the bomb shelter. When we went inside, I was constantly with my dad on the phone. And that's when we started hearing gunshots outside. And a lot of the people inside the bomb shelter, they started screaming, it's the military, it's fine. So I'm telling my dad, the military is here, they're handling the situation, it's fine. And then a few minutes later, they started screaming, we have a wounded person outside. And I just deliver everything to my dad back to the phone. Like, that's when the terrorists found us. They went inside the bomb shelter. First of all, they shot everyone that was in the pathway. And then they came inside and they started shooting everyone inside. I dropped my phone. And then what I remember is the pace of the gunshots. It was not like, it was boom, 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 boom. And then the shooting stopped. And because we were on the road, we could hear them going out, slamming the car door, and driving away. And so I looked to my friends, they were alive. And then I looked to my left to the girl that was holding my hand. she was lifeless and she was dead. Like her head was like this on my shoulder. I remembered my leg really hurting, and then I looked to my leg and I had this dead body all over my leg. We were around 50 people. After the first shooting, I called my dad to tell him I'm alive, and I was like, Dad, there is dead people, you have to call the police, you have to tell them to get to us. Like, he's processing the whole thing during the conversation.
איפה את?
תשלח משטרה לפה. אבא, יש מלא מתים, תשלח משטרה לפה.
אני שולח. מתים?
אבא, בבקשה, תשלח משטרה לפה.
אני שולח עכשיו, ממי, תהיי רגועה, תשארי איתי על הקו, אל תנתקי ממני את הקו, טוב? תהיי בשקט.
And then there is like a switch that happens to him. He goes like, play dead. Play dead, just play dead, just hang up the phone with me, just play dead.
יובלי, רגע, ויש שם מחבלים עדיין?
מסתובבים, אבא, תשלחו ניידות.
תהיי מתה, יובלי, תהיי מתה, תנתקי את הטלפון ממני, תהיי מתה.
I hung up the phone. I told everyone that was in the bomb shelter that every single time that we hear them coming, we have to play dead. Even the ones who got gunshots. They came back inside, they shot again. Every time that they went out, I took my phone and I started calling the police constantly. And they were like, send me your location. And it was very bad signal inside the bomb shelters. After constantly calling the police for 4 hours and them constantly coming inside the bomb shelters, shooting more and more people, I had kind of like a breaking point. My leg felt like it was gonna explode. It was so hot inside. I remember the last conversation with one of the people that answers the phone from the police. And he told me again, there is a unit coming to you. That's where I snapped, telling him, but that's not true. No one is coming, no one is coming. It's been 4 freaking hours. Why is no one coming here? You're leaving us. Next time, maybe I won't be able to call you. Like, they keep killing people and we can't go out. And he's like, don't go out. Don't go out of the bomb shelter. When is someone coming? And I was just tired. I was so tired. I didn't want to call them anymore. I didn't want to talk to anyone. And I started asking myself, like, when is this going to end? Is this going to end? Am I going to die? And my leg was like the hardest part of everything. Like, I could feel my bones in this part starting to crack. And I remember at that point, I was done.
אבוש, אני עוד חיה, יש לי גופה וגמדי רגליים שנשענות לי על הרגל כבר על 4 שעות. אני חושבת שהצטרכו לקרות לי אותם לאחרונה. אבל למה הם לא באים? למה אף אחד לא בא? למה?
The next time they come, I don't bend down. Like, I stay up, and obviously they're gonna shoot me and put a bullet in me, and that's it. And that, in a very weird way, calmed me down. Like, I knew when it's going to end. Like, I didn't know when the next time they're going to come, but I knew that the next time it's done. Like, I don't feel this pain anymore. I'm not in this situation anymore. I'm done. So, because that calmed me down, I did find the strength the next time they came to fight more and to hide again. Like, I didn't want my life to end there. So, after a few hours, at one point they started throwing grenades inside. The feeling that I remember is that when there was shootings, my heart was racing. But the first time I heard a grenade, I felt like my heart stopped. Like, the bombing was so strong that I felt like a few people that were inside the bomb shelters with us is the Sassi family. Avi Sassi, he jumped on the first grenade. I remember also at one point, every time after they started shooting throwing grenades, every time I opened my eyes, I could see like there's less and less people. And I didn't understand what that was. I didn't think about it at that time, but now, like, it was because people exploded. And then, because a lot of us had our phones, I remember someone saying something about the internet is saying that the military is now handling the situation. That's when they started coming less frequently. So at that point I started like looking for my phone. I remember like twisting a little bit to this side and I could see my phone on the back of the dead body or something, somewhere between around this area. And I found it and I picked it up and I called my dad. He told me on the phone, I found a rescuer. Like, I found someone that will pick you up. He is with the unit, he is looking for his daughter, which is also there. Talk to him, send him your location, and then he'll come get you. And then I told that to my friends. I called him. He asked me to count the survivors inside, like how many survivors there is inside. He said he was gonna be there in half an hour. And then it hasn't been half an hour, but someone started screaming like, is there anyone here that needs rescue? Anyone here that needs rescue? And I remember like really panicking because I imagined the way we're gonna be rescued so many times, and not for 1 second I thought like one person is gonna scream outside, does anyone needs rescue? And then all of the other people that were with me in the bomb shelter, they started screaming, yes, we need rescue, we need rescue, we need rescue. And I remember looking at Bar, my friend, and she's like, we're not getting out, we're not getting out. Also, my dad told her on the phone, there is a lot of terrorists that is disguised as military people. Don't go out, still play dead, play dead. And then I remember this guy coming inside. He had one arm on the wall and the other arm to the pathway with a gun. And he started screaming at us, get up, get up, get up. And then at one point he said, Nitzan, it's dad. And then we looked around to see who is Nitzan. And I saw that she actually got up. So we understood that this was her dad and this was a rescue. We are actually getting rescued now. And so everyone started getting up, like all of a sudden everyone. But I couldn't get up because I had the dead body on my leg. So when Adar, my friend, got up, I looked at her and I was like, you have to take her out. And she looked at me like I wasn't even talking. She was just staring at me like this. The rescuer screamed at her, why are you just standing there? Come on. And then she went to him. And then I saw Ben that got up and I said, Ben, you have to take her out. And I did the same thing. And then he realized and then he took her hand, he pulled her a little bit and he managed to move her. And that's when I went to go out of the bomb shelter. And I had to step on top of the dead bodies. I looked up and I saw daylight. And I saw a truck and I saw another truck next to that truck. And then I looked to the side when I completely got up and I saw 2 soldiers leaning down with the guns. And then we drove away. He told us not to look outside. And then we were evacuated to the hospital. That's where I met my dad and my uncle and my sister. After the first week, we did an interview in the press, and it gave me strength, like to explain or to talk about it or to, like there was nothing I could do in that situation. Instead of only the bare minimum of trying to play dead. But now I feel like this is my way of fighting this. Like, it gives me my strength back to explain and to talk about it and to tell people and to maybe make a change, hopefully, of people understanding what had happened. So it's kind of the way to fight them back. It helps me heal a little bit because it helps me feel like I am fighting back. And also, this cannot happen again.
Well, tomorrow night, Israel will participate in the second round of semifinals at this year's Eurovision Song Contest in Basel, Switzerland. Team Israel has been preparing nonstop for the event, and fans are anticipating a strong performance from Israeli representative Yuval Raphael, a powerhouse of courage and resilience, as she faces massive crowds of anti-Israel and anti-Semitic protesters demanding that Israel be banned from participating in this year's song contest. Raphael, who survived the Nova Music Festival massacre on October 7th, had this to say when asked about the pressure.
I've been mentally preparing for this maybe occurring, and I have to say that yesterday was frightening, even at times, uncomfortable, but I keep reminding myself, and I have this most amazing team that reminds me every day, and my mom that is absolutely the most supportive person I have. The main and the sole purpose that I'm here for, and it's to give the best performance, bring pride to my country. This song contest this year has the most amazing slogan, United by Music, which is exactly what we're here for. So putting that aside and just concentrating on the good and the love, and there's a lot of it as well from all over the world. There's always opinions and conversations about so many things, but I think for me, concentrating and just keeping everything aside as much as I can to bring the best performance is the best decision that I can do. Very much.
נציגת ישראל לאירוויזיון יובל רפאל עלתה היום לראשונה על הבמה הגדולה בבאזל, ובכניסה לארנה התקבלה במחיאות כפיים על ידי הצוות השוויצרי. אז מה ראינו על הבמה? קודם כל, אי אפשר לפספס את השנדליר הענקי שמתנסה לגובה של כמעט 6 מטרים ומעוטר במאות אבני קריסטל מנצנצות.
החזרה הייתה מעל הציפיות שלי, פשוט חזרה מעולה. יובל פשוט מצדיע לבחורה המרגשת הזאת. לפני 1.5 שנה כולנו יודעים איפה היא הייתה, והיום היא על הבמה ומחזיקה את הבמה כמו גדולה, מרגשת, כריזמטית, וזה רק ההתחלה, כי יש לה עוד להשתפשף ולהתאמן לקראת שבוע הבא, אבל כל הכבוד לה, פשוט, והנאבר פשוט נראה יפהפה, אני שמח, עוד נתקן ונשפר, יש מה לתקן, אבל בסך הכל ממש ממש מרוצים.
יובל עמדה שם לבד, ללא רקדנים, ללא זמרי ליווי, והוכיחה שעם קול ענק, לפעמים לא צריך יותר. מי שאחראי על הבגד המיוחד שלה הוא לא אחר מהמעצב ויבי בלאיש. הבגד השחור עם השרבולים הדרמטיים שנראים כמו כנפיים, נתפר במיוחד עבור יובל. החזרה הבאה ביום שישי, ויובל תופיע בחצי הגמר השני ביום חמישי הבא, עם מספר המזל 14 בסדר ההופעות. וקצת פחות נוצץ, שערה חדשה סביב ישראל. מוקדם יותר היום דווח בעיתון הבריטי האינדפנדנט ש72 זמרים וזמרות שהשתתפו בעבר באירוויזיון חתמו על מכתב פתוח שקורא להדיח את ישראל מהתחרות, בטענה לפוליטיזציה של האירוע. בין החותמים, מיי מולר, נציגת בריטניה 2023, וסלבדור סוברל שזכה עבור פורטוגל ב-2017.
אנשים מוחים ורוצים שלא נשתתף, בסדר, שיתקדמו. אנחנו פה חזקים, מתמקדים בעצמנו, בשיר, בביצוע, ביובל המהממת, המרגשת כל כך, שמדינה שלמה מחזיקה לאצבעות, ופשוט תהיו שם בשבילה, תחזיקו לאצבעות, דברו עם המשפחה שלכם, החברים שלכם בחול, שיצביעו כל אחד 10 פעמים בשבוע הבא, ואנחנו בדרך הנכונה.
The way it's decided who wins is that each country has an official judge panel, and the judge panel hands down their scores, country by country, and it's also open to everybody in the entire world gets 10 votes, and you're not allowed to vote for someone from your own country, but you get votes, and then they combine the judge scores with the popular world scores, and that's how the scores come about.
למרות הדרמה, יובל רפאל ממשיכה בשלה ומכוונת הכי גבוה שאפשר. חצאי הגמר והגמר הגדול של האירוויזיון ישודרו בשבוע הבא כאן אצלנו בכאן 11, מיד אחרי החדשות.
So this is a quick little overview, and I'll run through it quick. Some of the competition that our Israeli representative was going to face.
אתמול האירוויזיון יצא לדרך עם חצי גמר ראשון שהותיר את הקהל עם פה פעור. את הבמה אסור היה להראות עד השנייה האחרונה, ברגע שבו המופע התחיל, ונראה שהייתה למארגני התחרות סיבה טובה.
אולם יפה ומרגש כאן, עוד רגע תראו את הקהל, אולם כזה שאפילו הרצל לא יכול היה לחזות.
כל אחד מ-15 המדינות שהתחרו על מקום בגמר נתנה את הופעת חייה. והנה מי שזה השתלם להם. נורווגיה, אלבניה, שוודיה, להקת קאי שעדיין מככבת בראש טבלת ההימורים, ויש לה את הסיכוי הגבוה ביותר לנצח בזכות השיר שמעלל את נפלאות הסאונה.
Here's a song that extols the joys of going to a sauna.
עוד עלו פולין, הולנד, איסלנד, שלא היה בטוח שתצליח לעבור, ופתחה את הערב עם שיר שקצת מזכיר, שיר ישראלי מוכר. נראה בגמר גם את אסטוניה, אוקראינה, סן מרינו ועוד הפתעה לא צפויה. פורטוגל שהייתה בתחתית ההימורים לחצי הגמר הזה. והפתעה גדולה נוספת תראה את סבסטיאן הבלגי שהיה ממוקם במקום החמישי בהימורים הכלליים, ולבסוף לא עלה לגמר. אבל עכשיו העיניים נשואות קדימה, לחצי הגמר השני שבו תשתתף יובל רפאל נציגתנו.
לראות פעם ראשונה את השיר שלנו ברצף של השירים, זה כבר עושה טוב על הלב, כי בואו, כל קקפוניה...
שאתה מדבר בעד עצמו.
So this was the semi-final where she had to get through this in order to get to the final.
And even if you say goodbye, you'll never go away. You are the rainbow in my sky, my colors in the gray, my only wish.
You can hear there's cheering. There was no booing. There were 2 or 3 people in the audience who tried to do some bad stuff. They were stopped, and the overall feeling was very warm reception. I'm not going to play the whole thing here because I'll give you the final in a moment. She sings in 3 languages. First stanza is in English, second in French, third is a little bit of Hebrew.
Upon a star, sunshine in the day, the only song that my piano ever plays. And even if you say goodbye, you'll always be around to lift me up and take me high, keep my feet close to the ground. Are you proud of me tonight? Dreams are coming true. I choose the light, nothing to lose if I lose you. New day will rise, life will go on. Everyone cries, don't cry alone. Darkness will fade, all the pain will go by, but we will stay, even if you say goodbye.
And she was warmly received. Now, what happened is that, as I said, there's the judge voting, and after the finals, the judges handed down their voting, and Israel came in 14th place out of 26, right in the middle. The judicial voting, Israel came in 14th place last night. And this is the televoting. This is the voting of viewers all over the world who watched it and were allowed to vote. So the British came out, what the hell just happened? Switzerland, there's the country and the amount of votes they got. So Switzerland got 0, as did the Brits. So anti-Semitic Spain got 22nd place with 10 votes. Again, among the judges of the panels of each country, Israel came in 14th place. Apparently, they did better than 14th here among the voters. So it turns out Israel, among the world's voters, came in the top 5. So literally, the anti-Semitic professional judges in anti-Semitic countries gave Israel no votes, or 1 or 2 votes. But among the viewing audiences around the world, if you want to gauge the level of anti-Semitism as to whether it would cause people not to vote, turns out Israel came out in the top 5. Israel came in first last night. So all in all, Israel came in second when you factor in the judges who basically torpedoed, but she actually won. She actually came in first among the world's voters. So I want to, I think, conclude with her performance at the finals.
Yuval Raphael representing Israel. You have qualified for the grand final. How are you feeling?
Yes, oh my God, incredible, incredible. Absolutely amazing.
What was the tension like?
I mean, I have to be honest, the second I went on stage, I saw a few friends of mine on the audience and my heart just went silent and I'm like, just enjoy. You have one of the most incredible experiences in life. Just enjoy the moment. And that's what I did.
How did you deal with your nerves?
I breathe. I know it's scientifically proven that if you take 5 deep breaths, you automatically are more calm. So this is what I do. And I think of my message.
Switzerland has a very special place in your heart, doesn't it?
Yes, definitely.
Can you explain why?
I used to live in Switzerland when I was between 5 years old and 8 years old. I think it was one of like the most changing and most amazing times of my life during, because of my family. We were always all together, and the people and the experiences I've had here. So it's very, very close to heart being here.
And finally, your mum's been here with you. How's that been, having her by your side?
A dream, a dream. Having my mom is always like, okay, I'm good, I'm well. Whatever happens, I have my soulmate, so I'm calm.
Congratulations, Yuval, through to the grand final.
Much, thank you. I'm so excited.
Sous un ciel d'art, un rayon de journée, la seule chanson que mon piano peut jouer. New day will rise, life will go on, everyone cries, don't cry alone. Darkness will fade, all the pain will go by, but we won't stay, even if you say, new day will rise, life will go on.
Well, thank you for being here. And thanks for joining us for this very special, on one hand, an insane week. And I wanted to end this week on, this is just very inspirational. So have a wonderful week. And we look forward to some Tuesday night, our Navi class, Thursday, our class in Halacha. And have a great week. Bye-bye.